Fresh water and wetlands are vital for wildlife. Anatolia is home to hundreds of lakes and around 120 rivers of various sizes. Seas surround this ancient peninsula on three sides. A landscape rich in both fresh and saltwater ecosystems. Some wetlands are sustained by groundwater. Lakes have diminished due to excessive irrigation and climate change, making some of these sources easier to spot. The steppes of central Anatolia. The lake's water is dwindled due to seasonal variations. The area is barely habitable because of the intense heat and wind. Flamingos know that the fresh water is still available. These springs will continue to feed the lake throughout the dry season. In this episode, we explore Anatolia's remarkable aquatic and marine ecosystems and the extraordinary creatures that inhabit them. Spring is here, and the reeds are bustling with activity. Eurasian coots are early birds. The first chicks of the season have hatched. Some species have not yet found their mates. White-headed ducks are still courting. Males must display all their skills. These shallow areas between the reeds are highly valued. Females watch the dominant and powerful males intently. Male and female white-headed ducks exhibit distinct differences. They are among the unique duck species of Anatolia. The male has set his sights on a mate. It makes a grunting and clicking sound and ruffles its wings. It approaches slowly. The male will show off its skills, swimming sideways and backwards to keep in sync with the female's movements. The female shows interest. She gazes intently. Now for the final stage of the show. An upright head, an extended body, and an upright tail. Impressing the females isn't sufficient. The dominant male must also ensure that the other males acknowledge his superiority. One of the world's most skilled fish-hunting birds lives in Anatolia. The common kingfisher's favourite habitats are the reeds along the banks of slow-flowing streams and around lakes. First, a sound echoes, and then a blue silhouette emerges. It perches low, attentively observing the water. When the opportune moment arises, it plunges into the water like an arrow. Every attempt might not be successful, but the common kingfisher is still among the most adept hunters in this region. Anatolia is home to two other kingfisher species. The pied kingfisher can be found in nearly every wetland across sub-Saharan Africa. Anatolia is its northernmost habitat. This bird observes the nesting area of sand martins. It's too crowded here. It needs to look for alternative nesting sites. It often perches low and gazes at the water, but its hunting method differs. After identifying a school of fish, it hovers in the air to pick a target. The white-throated kingfisher is not dependent on water like the other two species. It is a large and strong bird. It will carry large insects, rodents and reptiles to its nest near forests and meadows. The young are soon mature enough to leave the nest. It can now fly freely. Anatolia marks the westernmost edge of the white-throated kingfisher's range, a species more commonly found across Asia. Wetlands are nutrient-rich habitats. They provide ample food for the wild boar. The boar's favourite places are swamps, which many creatures cannot access. But it moves with ease, its hooves perfectly adapted to the soft, muddy terrain. The piglets will stay close to their mother. They must learn both the terrain and foraging techniques. Wild boars are habitat architects. They turn the soil, bury seeds, dig up roots, and create water channels. The holes created by the boar fill with water, attracting insects and birds. Life in wetlands is fascinating, yet the diversity invisible to the naked eye is even more impressive. This puddle contains creatures that have existed on Earth for 100 million years and can survive for 30 years without food. The tardigrade, nicknamed the water bear. These microscopic eight-legged creatures are the hardest life forms on Earth, thriving in nearly any environment, from boiling water to frozen ice sheets and from deep ocean trenches to the void of space. Cyanobacteria were the first organisms to generate the oxygen we breathe today and rank among the oldest life forms on our planet. While invisible to the naked eye, cyanobacteria are crucial in a well-known transformation. Flamingos, one of the most striking birds found in Anatolia's wetlands, get their beautiful pink coloration from cyanobacteria. Flamingo chicks are grey and brown. It will take time to develop their vivid pink plumage. The flamingo forages in shallow waters, filtering water and mud through its beak by extending its long neck. Crustaceans and cyanobacteria get trapped in the flamingo's beak filter, and over time, the dark young transform, developing pink feathers, beaks and legs, like adult flamingos. While the black-winged stilt is not as large as the flamingo, it has a fascinating body. It has the longest legs relative to its body size among all birds. The stilt can swim in deeper waters and catch a wider variety of prey than any other shorebirds. This adaptable bird inhabits all of Anatolia's wetlands in both fresh and saltwater habitats. Spotting the bittern is challenging. It prefers to stay hidden and does not form large colonies like other herons. Most heron species prefer similar habitats and often hunt in groups. While their anatomy is similar, they avoid competition due to variations in body size, hunting techniques, and types of prey. Wading near the purple heron, grey heron and little egrets is the spoonbill with its unique beak. Its long, scoop-shaped beak features sensitive feelers at the tip, enabling it to hunt effectively even in murky, muddy waters with limited visibility. The pelican, with a wingspan of 3.5 meters and a weight of about 15 kilograms, is the largest bird found in wetlands. This collective hunting technique proves highly efficient, as pelicans drive schools of fish into shallow waters and easily capture the trapped prey. Cormorants also recognize the advantages of this tactic and join pelicans in pursuing the same fish schools. Like all water birds, the clearings among the reeds are vital for the great crested grebe. Those without partners will find potential mates. Those who paired last season will strengthen their bonds. They shake their heads and preen their feathers to attract one another. Now it's time for courtship and dancing. One of the key endemic habitats in Anatolia is seagrass meadows. They are the primary habitat for most underwater life. These meadows typically grow on sand and sometimes on muddy substratas. They can be found at depths of up to 40 meters. However, their distribution is generally near the coastline, as they require light for photosynthesis. These seagrass meadows enrich seawater with oxygen and generate 35 times more organic matter than tropical forests. Seagrass meadows are essential for a thriving marine ecosystem, yet they are rapidly declining because of human activities. Key threats include coastal development, pollution, seabed dredging, fishing, and boat anchors. Early summer. The seagrass meadows near the shore have visitors. The sea turtle spends nearly its entire life alone in the water and returns to the southern coast of Anatolia. This is the same beach where it was born. Late at night, it's time to head to the beach. The female sea turtle must find a suitable spot to dig a nest for her eggs. She typically lays around 100 soft white eggs, each the size of a ping-pong ball. She quickly covers the hole once the last egg is laid to conceal her nest from predators. All tracks and scents must be eliminated. She will not return to land until it's time to lay eggs again. The eggs have been buried for nearly 2 months. The sand begins to stir. Sensing vibrations from above, the hatchlings below also start to move. The temperature of the nest and the egg's position determine the sex of the hatchlings. Warmer environments produce females, while cooler ones yield males. Guided by the sound of waves, the scent of salt, and the glow on the horizon, the hatchlings make their way across the sand. A hopeful ending, for now. Those that reach the sea will swim relentlessly for days, vanishing into the deep blue of the Mediterranean. Some hatchlings aren't as lucky and become food for seagulls and large fish. Only 1 in every 1,000 hatchlings will reach adulthood. Males spend their entire lives at sea, never returning to shore. Females stay in the sea until they reach sexual maturity at about age 30, after which they return to the beaches where they hatched. Their large eyes feature broad pupils that provide a wide field of vision. Meadows and rocky underwater habitats are vital for octopuses to hide and hunt. The grouper is among the most valuable fish in these waters. Though it typically dwells among rocky reefs and meadows at depths of around 50 meters, the grouper is capable of diving as deep as 300 meters. This fish, which can live for over 50 years, is a hermaphrodite, meaning it has both male and female reproductive organs. It begins its life as a female and becomes a male around the age of 12. As a symbol of the Mediterranean, the grouper faces the threats of extinction due to amateur and commercial fishing, pollution, climate change, and habitat loss. Rock pools are among the most important habitats in coastal ecosystems. They provide many opportunities for organisms that can adapt to changing conditions. Crabs are permanent residents of these pools. Like fish, they breathe underwater using gills. The crabs in these rock pools have also evolved to survive on land, allowing them to breathe outside of water, though they must keep their gills moist at all times. When a crab ventures onto land, it keeps its gills moist by forming bubbles with water stored in its mouth. Using its powerful pincers, the foremost of its 5 pairs of legs, a crab tears small food pieces and brings them to its mouth. The transparent rock shrimp is another common rock pool dweller. Similar to crabs, these shrimp have a hard shell made of chitin. They feed on algae found on rocks. Though the Mediterranean sea anemone resembles a plant, it is actually an animal closely related to jellyfish. It has a mouth at the center of its flat, circular base, which it uses to attach itself to rocks or the seabed. Its tentacles gracefully sway in the water and contain invisible stings that are not detectable to the naked eye. Another poisonous inhabitant of our seas is the sea hare, associated with snails and slugs. Its vibrant body acts as a warning signal to predators. Many predators roam the sea. Some creatures are entirely defenseless in their juvenile stages. These young fish have devised an effective defense mechanism. They reside among the deterrent spines of sea urchins until they grow large enough to safeguard themselves. Particular land species also ingeniously utilize spines. The red-backed shrike prefers the thorny bushes near the wetland. The female is light brown and has a pattern on her chest. The male is more vibrant with a red back, grey head and black mask. He harbours a chilling secret that gives him the nickname Butcher Bird. It impales the insects it catches on thorns for later consumption. The insects will stay fresh for a long time. This tiny bird is one of the symbols of the reed beds. The bearded reedling fully deserves its name. The female reedling has yellow-brown feathers. The male is striking with its grey head and black moustaches that gives the species its name. The reedling never leaves the reed beds, where it feeds and nests throughout the year. As the winter sun slowly sinks below the horizon, millions of starlings gather in the reed beds of Anatolia every evening. This fascinating and admirable sight, called murmuration, is filled with secrets. A hypnotic, synchronized flight display that almost seems choreographed. What causes these birds to engage in such captivating dances? Their synchronized movements bewilder potential predators, making it difficult for a hunter to focus on a single bird. The reed beds also shelter marsh harriers and falcons. They remain vigilant in search of prey. The starlings frequently alter their flight patterns, merge and move as one entity. Targeting an individual proves nearly impossible. The hunter attempts to break apart the flock, but its efforts are in vain. The flock keeps growing with more starlings, determined not to lose a single member. The harrier will pursue other targets. The starling murmuration mimics a singular, living entity, effectively guarding the flock. Once the danger is over, the starlings start to settle on the reed beds, meadows, and branches for the night. They will keep flocking to this gathering and roosting site until the sun completely sets and night descends. This tightly woven nest can be found in almost every wetland across Anatolia. In just 10 days, the penduline tit constructs its signature creation, a pendulous nest that hangs delicately from tree branches. The nest is built from carefully placed materials, including flowers, reeds, and even animal hair. Both the male and female collaborate in the construction, which typically occurs at the ends of branches extending into the water. The nest must be robust enough to hold at least 6 to 7 eggs. At the center of this wetland resides a creature skilled in camouflage, thriving in both terrestrial and aquatic environments. Despite its elusive nature, it can be easily located by its distinctive sounds. It confidently blends into the vegetation of mosses and reeds and exhibits explosive speed when threatened. The cacophony of sounds in Anatolia's wetlands is caused by male frogs, attempting to assert dominance and attract females. The message conveyed to rival males is, "This is my territory," while to females, "I'm as strong as my voice. I'm ready to reproduce." The male frog possesses a vocal sac. By inflating this sac with air, the frog amplifies the sound made by its vocal cords, enabling its call to echo and travel further. Frogs play an essential role in the wetland food chain. They help regulate the invertebrate population by preying on insects and being a food source for birds, snakes, and larger fish. The stork is among the first species to migrate in the spring. Departing from their winter habitats in Africa, storks arrive at their nesting sites in Anatolia by late February. Typically monogamous, storks return to the same nest each year. Pairs that spend the winter apart will find each other at the nest. Storks often build nests near human settlements, unaffected by noise or activity. They often prefer lakeside villages and agricultural areas because food is plentiful. The meadows surrounding wetlands and the shallow lake shores provide ideal habitats for storks. They raise their young in large nests. They continuously forage for food to ensure the chicks grow rapidly and can fly as soon as possible. In just a few months, young stork chicks reach the size of their parents and their black beaks slowly shift to orange. Before departing the nest, the young storks engage in flight exercises, utilizing the wind. They need to develop strong wings ahead of their autumn migration. The time has arrived. Autumn's onset marks the start of their migration. The storks will journey together, feed collectively, and rest in secure trees at night until they reach their wintering areas. An elegant migrant arriving from thousands of kilometers to the north signifies winter in Anatolia. Their breeding grounds are in the far north, close to polar regions, unsuitable for winter survival. In contrast to the tundra, winters in Anatolia are far more temperate. Swans spend most of their time in shallow water, feeding on grass, moss, seeds, and roots of leafy aquatic plants. Their long necks allow them to feed without submerging. Swans prefer extensive wetlands near cultivated fields. Frequently seen in large groups, they disperse across flooded fields, searching for grass, seeds, and sometimes worms. As large, heavy birds, swans need support to take off. Of all the creatures that depend on wetlands, the crane is among the hardest hit by their destruction. Marshes and agricultural areas are its habitat. Cranes that nest in aquatic or terrestrial areas rely on reeds to conceal their eggs and chicks. The Eastern Mediterranean is a crucial migration pathway for cranes. Roughly 80,000 cranes migrate through this area every year, with thousands using southern Anatolia as their winter habitat. During the harsh winter months, cranes take refuge in the south and return to Anatolia as heralds of spring. They reach their breeding grounds even before the snow has melted. Unfortunately, the crane population, which is significant culturally in Anatolia, has decreased by half over the last 2 decades. Currently, approximately 50 breeding pairs remain in Anatolia. The primary cause of this decline is habitat loss. Human activities and climate change have caused groundwater depletion in wetlands and reduced the number of springs. Without intervention, lakes will inevitably shrink, dry up, become polluted, and ultimately disappear. The seas face a similar plight. Since the Suez Canal opened, invasive species have flooded the Mediterranean. Mainly due to climate change and warming sea temperatures, around 900 invasive species now thrive in the Mediterranean. One of the most prevalent species is the lionfish. An effective predator that preys on numerous small fish, causing lasting damage to the ecosystem. Unlike its native Red Sea and the Indian Ocean, it faces fewer natural predators, which allows its population to grow quickly. Invasive species pose a serious threat to all the seas surrounding Anatolia. Lake Van ranks among the largest soda lakes globally. It has a high salt content and elevated pH levels. Meanwhile, Lake Tuz stands as one of the largest salt lakes worldwide. These 2 major lakes in Anatolia may seem uninhabitable. The pearl mullet, an endemic species found only in Lake Van, undertakes a remarkable migration journey. Lake Tuz hosts one of the Mediterranean basin's largest flamingo colonies. The wetlands and seas of Anatolia represent vital natural reserves for the planet. We have destroyed many wetlands over the years. Marshes that provide shelter and nourishment for various organisms have been dried out. Reeds have been burnt to clear land for agriculture. Lakes have been depleted for irrigation, pushing numerous species to the brink of extinction. The shorelines have fallen victim to rampant development. To protect what remains, human impact must be scaled back. Left undisturbed, the reeds will regenerate rapidly. Embracing sustainable tourism and fishing practices can benefit humanity and the creatures inhabiting our seas. Anatolia's future relies on its wetlands, reeds, shores and seas, which sustain the people and the diverse fauna that share this land.